Hey, all you Splinterheads, welcome back. Bronze Dragon here saying thanks for dropping by. I appreciate your time. In this episode, I want to go over two things that jumped out at me. I listened to the town hall from this week. I listened to it twice, really, because I wanted to go back and I wanted to make sure that, I heard everything correctly. Two things jumped out at me. And if you're interested in the land game, you may be interested in these because these are kind of things that we've talked about them a lot up to this point, but things are changing. We're receiving new news. And this last video I did on Section 4 of the Land 2.0 white paper, which I have up on the screen right now, release some more information. I do want to preface this by saying that obviously everything is still in flux. Nothing is written in stone, and Matt was very clear about that on the town hall, saying that basically the Land 2.0 white paper chunks that he's putting out are his ideas, and a lot of them probably will come through to fruition, but he's very open to commentary and people's feelings on if things don't sound like they're going to work correctly, changes, things like that. So nothing's set in stone. This is all a work in progress, and that was one of his main points on this white paper. But with that said, the first thing I want to talk about won't take too long. The second thing, an overarching view of how one of the points in land will take a little bit longer, but I wanted to go ahead and talk about this. The first thing is the storage building idea. We've talked about this in the past, and they've even talked about this on various town halls and kind of hinted and alluded to it, but it sounds like it's changed a lot. Okay, so we read through the newest part of the white paper about storage buildings, and we know that you're going to need the proper amount of storage for, especially if you're interested in liquidity pools, and if you are saving up large amounts of resources for a particular project, building a building, upgrading a building, running a big, something that would require a lot of resources. You're going to have the storage for it. And we also know through the white paper that storage will be available. You can purchase it straight from the game for a certain amount, okay? So that led me to question the idea. Well, up to this point, we've talked about this idea of there being a business, quote unquote, a business opportunity for people that just wanted to use certain portions of land for renting out and being storage, right? Well, it turns out that's, I guess, not on the books yet, okay? Now, he did say that it is a possibility, and if people wanted it, they could basically make it happen. But at this point in time, he said most buildings have enough storage therein to hold the grain and whatever else they're producing to work with, in most cases, to not need storage. If you refer to part 3 of the white paper, one of the sections goes over resource storage and tells you the different resource storage buildings available. It does not talk about the idea of being able to rent out your storage. And he talked about this in this week's town hall, saying he did not think that it was going to be needed. He did not think that was going to be a common thing needed for people. So I wanted to get that out there because it had been a topic various people I've talked about it and other people have talked about it. The idea that especially in the case of where you find good deals on a particular plot of land and you scoop it up, but that may be the only plot of land you have in that region or something. One of the good ideas was to use it to rent out, sublet as storage, okay? So that kind of takes that off the table for this point in time. So we'll talk about it, and obviously everything's still evolving, and he said that that's still possibility. He just basically alluded, he didn't allude to it, he said that he didn't think that was going to be necessary. Now, and he also stated that most likely, probably the biggest users of storage facilities are going to be people that are involved with the liquidity pools and need to keep large amounts of materials in storage, okay? And in that case, those people will probably be more likely to just go ahead and build a storage facility for their use. Okay. I wanted to get that out there because it was interesting to me. Okay. The second topic I want to talk about, and it's a bigger overarching topic that I'd like to get into. I've talked about it, and one of the things I liked about this whole land project was the fact that they started talking about, and it sounded like there was a lot of different ways that you could get in and be within the project and feasibly make some money, because why else would you want to be in the project? I mean, yeah, Nate said that it's about the storyline and everything, and I do agree on a tangent here. That's the way you get and retain people is get them into the game and everything. But if I'm going to put money into land, and at this point I put a fair amount of money into land, I want to see some return on that money, right? I don't think that's unfair to say. But it seems like, kind of following that tangent, it kind of seems like I'll stop there. But my main point here is that I thought there were going to be several different ways you could fit into the land game, so to speak, and make some money, right? Okay. So, for instance, I thought that, hey, if you liked the idea of owning a bunch of forests and you want to make wood planks, then you could buy and stake out your land and you could harvest your wood and you could make wood planks. You could sell them on the market and make some money. I'm not saying you're going to get rich doing that, but I thought it was going to be a money-making opportunity. If that's what you wanted to do, if that's what you wanted to contribute to the overarching, the whole land opportunity type land game, so to speak, right? But as it turns out, obviously there are a lot of things in motion, and he started talking about the whole idea and differences between a Web 2 and a Web 3 game. And we know that you get into a game and you start harvesting. It's quickly where you put some time into it and you've harvested a bunch of resources. And he was very clear that he was trying to not get into the situation where people were just drawing and drawing and drawing off the system, where there was a spike in initial costs for materials, wood, stone, stuff like that. But then it went down over time because this huge glut on the market, right? And this goes into the whole discussion point this week that everybody's been having about all the layerings of fees and taxes and stuff like that. And at what point is it just really not even worth it, right? So with that in mind, his statement on the way that money will be made, or hopefully be made, is right here on the screen. Okay, and I'm going to read it. I went back and I got it, drew it straight from the video, just to make sure I got the words correct, because I didn't want to put any words in his mouth. The value is going to come from two things. It's going to come from the Secret of Pretoria project, and the second place, the main value, is going to come from the item and spell cards. You're not going to produce more resources in value than you put in land resources. You're going to have to put it in and probably pay. You will probably have to buy things. You're not going to be able to make it yourself to be able to produce the item and spell cards. And that is where we hope it ends up being profitable. And that threw me for a loop, because my whole idea of how the land game, yes, I understood that probably the main output of the land game is everything going into making item and spell cards. And I understand that. And he talked about that item and spell cards will most likely come in the 4 different rarities and be leveled up just like normal cards. And you would sell those. And I understood that. However, I also thought, going into this project, that it was also possible to do other things and make a little bit of money, right? So like my previous example, I thought it would be possible to go ahead and if I wanted to, mine stone and produce stone blocks or whatever the item is, and contribute that and sell that on the market, I thought that was going to be feasibly a way I could contribute to the market. But now it really sounds like I don't know what people with 1 or 2 plots of land are going to do. I don't know how that's going to work out, because with what he said, the main way you're going to make money is combining items or combining materials to make item and spell cards, which you will have to largely buy off of the markets, the various markets, right, from other people. But here's the thing: if the main money is just coming from the item and spell cards, and there's no money and very little money in actually producing the materials, who's going to want to do that? So, I mean, this is all still fluid, but I wanted to go ahead and get that out there because it's really changed my perception of where this is going. So, with that said, go ahead and leave your comments in the show notes or in the comment section, and I will reply as I can. Thanks for dropping by. Please leave a like and subscribe if you like this content coverage. Otherwise, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy, and I will see you on the flip side.